Good afternoon, everybody. Martin Pavey here. Thank you very much for joining and welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I've got a very different backdrop for you here, and you can start to get an idea of the beautiful fields that I look out over from my apartment, because it was very, very heavily raining earlier and it is very, very windy outside. So I'm barricaded in here with lovely Mozart and my piano and my lovely plant in the background and my lovely new sparkly curtains. I like to have as much colour in my life as possible. But today we've got a very important video, and it's on the only thing that you have to do. And that sounds like a tall claim, but before I go into it, I would just like to politely and kindly ask and remind you to like and to subscribe and to share this video to get these important messages out to the world. And also, if anything resonates with you, then to please leave a comment down below. I really do appreciate it. I want to grow this channel. I want to do great things with it. And today is going to be about a subject that is very, very great. Now, a friend once told me, very, very, very wise friend, that personalities always want something. And it sounds like a very simple phrase, but whenever you meet anybody, they want their worldview endorsed. It's very important to people. They want to be felt, they want to feel listened to, but mostly they want you to agree with them. And so you have to go into relationships understanding that discussion and conversation and negotiation in any relationship are absolutely critical. This is the ideal, where both perspectives, you have a unique perspective on the world, I have a unique perspective on the world, and they marry together harmoniously with peace, love, and light. That's the ideal scenario. However, you know what's coming. It's never quite that simple. And often, actually, it can be much more difficult than that. And in fact, with a lot of people, it's not going to be possible, especially if you are awake, if you are observant, if you are an intelligent human being that really wants to do something with your life, and I applaud you for that. But the most important thing that you need to do is what? Define boundaries. That's what you need to do. You need contrasts in your life, and you can see the background of this video. Everything pops and everything is vibrant because there's a great deal of contrast, okay? And it's up to you to decide who you have in your life and who you don't have in your life. But also, defining boundaries extends to everything. It's about how you don't spend your day and how you do spend your day. What are you doing with your day? Are you being creative and productive? Are you fostering peace in your life? But are you also, at the same time as being peaceful, are you being strong and disciplined and defining to people what is acceptable and unacceptable? Now, in my life, and I hope that this reflection actually helps you, in my life, one of the things that I felt most angry about and upset with and dissatisfied with is when it comes to dealing with other people, I've experienced a lot of alienation and people discussing things on my behalf, making decisions for me. And when I say, well, actually, no, I don't want to do that, what I've actually experienced is a huge, crazy amount of blowback, which has been incredibly unpleasant. But the truth is, the reason why defining boundaries is so important is that it gives you the opportunity of being able to walk away from those situations rather than, as I also erroneously did in massive error, was to actually make excuses for the people who were trying to dictate what I did in my life, finding excuses for them, and then, if that wasn't enough, and then feeling guilty for actually stating and asking the great Lord above, for feeling guilty for what I wanted. Feeling guilty for what I wanted. And I know that a lot of people feel this way, because I was on my fairly recent video when I was saying how wonderful it is to wander, when I ran into my old teacher from school, of her saying, oh, you know, you always did your own thing. I was like people who are themselves. And somehow, because the thing is, she knew me back in the late 1990s, but what I actually allowed myself to do was to really slip down from that level to a place where no matter who it was I was with, I didn't really feel like I existed. It's a very, very alienating and frightening thing to have such a lack of identity. And what I want to impress upon you is I don't need to give you information. I don't need to give you permission. I don't need to give you permission to live your own life. But I'm going to do it anyway and keep reminding you that it is your life. You are allowed to live it as you see fit. And there are going to be people who are really unhappy about that, really monumentally unhappy. And you'll find that a lot of people can actually get really angry, because I will be honest. Now it's hard to judge, you know, based on what people you know and who other people know or whatever. But I think that by my subservience and making excuses for people and trying to please people all the time for the last 40 years, I met some pretty extreme cases of people who wanted not just unreasonable things, but actually quite sinister and malevolent things out of me. And it's fortunate, actually, and I've talked about this with my therapist, it's fortunate that I didn't know my old friends and my ex-boyfriend for any longer, because I think that the revelations would have been progressively more and more shocking. And this is the thing, by being able to define boundaries, what you can actually do is save yourself, rescue yourself from a huge amount of heartache and sort of the dismantling of your life, of stopping focusing on the things that really matter to you, of doing things in your way, and having a very free life where you have, and I talk about this a lot, and it might sound a really boring phrase, but to have the space, having the space in order to have the mental clarity and the focus and the determination and the consistency to actually do what you want to do. And you can't do that with people in your life who are deliberately pulling you down and picking, absolutely picking at everything. Oh my God, picking everything. Death by 1,000 cuts. I don't want that for you. I don't want you to experience those kind of relationships, and nor do I. So the thing is, I have done people pleasing. I have done subjecting myself to people. I am done with feeling guilty about wanting what I want. I'm done with all of that. And what my life is about now, and I urge you to focus on these things as well. Make your life about joy. Make it about productivity. Make it about profitability. Working on your business and focusing in, honing in on all those things that you've done throughout your life that you've allowed to slip, but you can always reawaken. And I very recently, I love this thing. I absolutely love this piano. I had it fixed recently because there were quite a few issues with it, which I think resulted from having it transported up here. But the beautiful thing is that it's all fixed. I've got my lovely Mozart, I've got my sheet music, I've got the beautiful inspirational view that I look at out of the window, looking at the river, the fields, and by the way, get out of the cities. Get out. Run for the fields, run for the hills, as they say. But fill your life with joy and fill your life with the things that you want to do, and only go into relationships where you are able to communicate calmly what it is that you want and what it is that you're going to do. And if you can work together with people and they can accept that and support you, fantastic. But if anybody is trying to distract you from what it is that you want to do, or say that you shouldn't be doing that, or that they don't approve of it, well, ask them why. And if they won't answer, then tell them to fuck off. Because what you'll find is people can't cope with individuals. They can't cope with people who disagree with them, who think differently, and who actually want to make something positive out of life. And what I realized about all the people that I was with, that I attracted like a fly strip for dysfunctional people, then I've sort of forgotten the point that I was going to make there. Well, yes, the reason that those relationships didn't work is because they didn't want the best for themselves. They abused themselves in many different ways, and whether it was drugs or alcohol or food or complaining, they didn't want to be happy. And you'll find this a lot. But don't make their misery your responsibility. You only have the responsibility for yourself. And you have to keep reminding yourself of that, because the guilt that I've experienced, that I think a lot of empathic people feel, is because they try and take responsibility for other people, and then they end up in this cycle of misery and abuse, fortunately with me it wasn't physical, but it was certainly emotional, and it was definitely psychological manipulation, which I fell for. I'm completely open and honest about it. I completely fell for all of that. But don't allow yourself to do it. Feel good about wanting what you want. Feel good about yourself. And I guarantee you, magical things will happen, because now that I've come to this realization that I'm out of the fog, that there's a clearing in the woods, and they talk about not being able to see the wood for the trees. There's a clearing, and it's at this point of mental and emotional clarity, or at least greater understanding, that I've started to run into all the people that I've known from my past, and having nice conversations with former neighbours and meeting new people. It all happens at the right time, but you have to be the one who actually makes the change. So the most important thing, the only thing that you have to do, that you must do, is define boundaries by saying yes to what you want and saying no to what you don't want. I say it's that simple. Not really, but if you do need support, I'm always here. My email address is down below. Please send me an email, please, because I want to be able to help you. Send me an email to martinfpavey@gmail.com. It's down below. And I look forward to hearing from you to schedule your first one-to-one session with me and help you to get on track and to realize what's important in your life and what to throw out the window. Thank you very much for listening. Martin Pavey here. Please do like and subscribe and share to spread the message. And if you related to anything in this video, then please do leave me a comment down below. And I'm very excited to see you for the next video tomorrow. Ciao for now, folks.